All right, welcome back, everybody. Here we are taking another look at a function that is not in theta of some other function. And this one's a little bit trickier, and we probably won't see very many cases where we're going to end up with values this high. So this one's a little bit more optional in that respect, but it's still important to know the techniques that we're going to use to solve this problem in case they come up in other scenarios. So a reminder that not in theta means that we're saying for all m1 and m2 and n naught greater than 0, there will exist an n greater than n naught where m1 times 6n minus 5n will be greater than or equal to 3 to the n, and pull that whole thing over again. Nope, not and. Or, oh, it should have been less than or equal to, and now it's, this is why I always write it out first the right way and then negate it, because here I am confusing myself. So the negation will be m1 times 6n minus 5 to the n is greater than 3n, or 3 to the n will need to be greater than m2 times 6 to the n minus 5 to the n. There we go. That's our negation. So again, so we look at these two here, and we're going to try and just logically decide which one of these two do we think is plausible. Well, there's a 6 to the n up here, and there's a 5 to the n up here. How are we going to be able to discern if this is greater than this, or if this is greater than this? Well, if we treat these just as we do with our n squared, like our polynomial style values, we can see pretty quickly that this side just isn't possible because it's just straight up not true. It's false, which means it'll be a lot easier for us to go and try to prove this side to be true. So let's go ahead and see if we can find an m1 and an n. Sorry, not find an m1, but find an n. Find an n. Find n defined in terms of n naught and m1 for the inequality above to hold. Let's see if we can do it. Hint, we can. So first we factor out that's 6 to the n. We get something like this. We can notice that we have this term here where as long as n is going to be greater than 1, which don't forget basically means n is equal to n naught plus 1, to ensure that it's going to be greater than 1, we can say that m1 times 6 to the n times 1 minus 5 over 6 to the n is going to be greater than m1 times 6 to the n times 1/6, which will be greater than 3 to the n. Now, don't get too caught up here in what we're looking at, because I think what we want to make sure that we do now is the same thing that we always do, which is to say we want to isolate n so that we can figure out what n needs to be in terms of m. So if we divide both sides by 3 to the n, what can we come up with here? So let's take a look at that. Let's rewrite this as m1 times 6 to the n over 6, which is greater than 3 to the n. Now, keeping this in mind, we're going to divide both sides by 3 to the n and 3 to the n. And this can be rewritten as m1 over 6 greater than, m1 over 6 times 6 over 3 to the n greater than, and that leaves a 1 over there. So let's rearrange this so that we can make sure that we're getting our n alone just as before. Let's actually just first rewrite that term. We have m1 over 6 times 2 to the n, which will be greater than 1, right? So all I did was take 6 divided by 3 to get that value. Okay, so now we still don't have n alone. So I think what we should probably do is divide both sides by m over 6 so that we can get that 2 to the n all by itself. So that's going to result in 2 to the n being greater than 6 over m to the m1. Now, that n is still not really yet by itself. So we need to find a way to get that n down off of that exponential there. Just going to move these out of the way for a second so we don't run out of room before I fall into my next problem space here. So here's where we can now take the log of both sides. We can say log base 2 of 2 to the n is going to be greater than log base 2 of 6 over m to the 1, which then allows us to pull that n down so that we end up with, I'll just write it over here, n log base 2 of 2 is greater than log base 2 of 6 over m. Log base 2 of 2 is just 1, which means we have n being greater than log base 2 of 6 of m1. So we actually now can say we know that n needs to be greater than this term, and we know that n has to be greater than this term, which means we're now in a place where we can start our official proof. And just as before, I'm not going to actually do the whole proof, but I will get you started now that we've done the scrap work. We know that we need to be greater than n naught. We know that we need to be greater than, log base 2, pardon me, 6 over m1. I'm actually going to do log base 2. There we go. I'm just going to do plus 1 over there. Put a plus 1 over there on the outside. Oh, my max function should be curly braces. We can see I'm starting to fade pretty fast in my notation here as it gets to be later in the day. And we can observe that n is indeed going to then be greater than n naught plus 1. I'm going to leave that plus 1 there. I'm just going to remove this one so that I can prove that I'm definitely over that like fraction space. So that's why I want to leave that there. And then this will be like this. And now we can just work backwards. We can observe that n is going to be greater than n naught plus 1, which means that we'll be able to say that this right here is definitely greater than this right here, which allowed us to reach a place where we could say basically this right here. And then we can see that we can observe that we know that n is going to be greater than log base 2 of 6 over m. And so that if we continue to isolate n over here, we will be able to find ourselves all the way back at that one took us to here when we moved that m1 over 6, when we divided both sides by m1 over 6. We found ourselves back over there. We took the log of both sides. We were able to bring that n down, and we were able to see that indeed it's true that we needed n to be greater than log base 2, 6 over m1. And so we can see exactly how we were able to deduce this value, as well as how we would go about proving it. All right, so I had said at the start of this video that, when we've got these 6 to the n numbers, we're talking about things that are not polynomial, they're exponential. And we don't see a lot of that when it comes to the proofs, like the real world proofs of our problems, because the things that we implement will not be in exponential time, because there's no modern day computer that can deal with that, with those types of implementations. So these exponential problems, while still relevant and do still appear a fair bit in some algorithms that you'll see in future years, it's not a situation that you're gonna like come across in the wild. It's more like something that you will see in the context of theoretical problems throughout your computer science degree. Anyway, keeping that in mind, we're going to go on in the next exercise to continue to see, we can get a little sneak peek right there. We are going to finish off this topic with the definition of big O, little o, pardon me, and little omega, and do some proofs with those as well. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.